How long ago did this all start for you, Anson?
It has been 2 months, but it seems like a year to me. It's like too much information. I think it all started like right before Chinese New Year in the end of January. And at that time, when we hear the news from Wuhan, actually it's like rolling out every day, like increased number of like infections every day. We don't think of like the lockdown of our city, and I was just thinking to go back to my hometown for the Chinese New Year. But right before I get on the plane and I saw the news, like every city is locking down. It was like a sudden change to our life. Everything like, like Chinese New Year, people are like being with their family and all together, go out shopping, just like Christmas. From that day on, I stay at home for a whole month before I came back to the city of Guangzhou. So it was like this sudden change.
Was it literally going from everyday life to being told you have to stay in your home and you don't have a choice like that? There was no like.
I think we have, you know what? There's been a lot of discussion of like should the government ban like every house, every family to go out? But actually at that time there's no exact order for us to like you have to stay at home, but it's more of a encouragement for people to like stay at home. So like people have that common sense that we should stay at home to see the numbers like going up and up, and we have this consent that we should stay at home and see what's going on. The other thing is that I think we should thanks to the Chinese New Year. We have the time and the holiday to stay at home. Otherwise, if like everybody is like going to work every day, it must be worse than what we have right now. But I think it's a good thing because you got to have more time to be with your family. How's the situation like in London?
I think the really difficult thing in the UK, and I don't know if it was the same in China, but all the information that we were told was that for a long period of time, this is going to impact old people or people with physical like issues with their health. And actually, if you're young and healthy, it's not going to affect you. So I think a lot of younger people, they don't really understand the seriousness of the illness and the fact that it's crippling our healthcare system right now. And I think that's quite challenging, like going to parks and seeing a load of we have like outdoor gyms in the parks. I don't know if you have a similar, and like people are just sharing the equipment with each other because they don't get it, they don't understand. So
you know what, it's like the similar situation here in China. Like at the very first beginning of the outbreak, we think that only old people and people with like some other kind of disease can be affected, but in the end we see a lot of news like younger people are getting the virus and they died.
I'm speaking to my family loads, although I'm also now like I went from 0 to 100 in terms of like keeping in touch, and now I'm trying to rebalance that so that again it's that quality of time that you're talking with people instead of just talking every day, because eventually it's just like you have nothing to actually talk to each other about. But yeah, I definitely think like noticing things that you never spent any time on previously. I'm desperately trying to really listen to them when I'm talking with them, instead of just like having just a really bland generic catch-up conversation that I was probably doing beforehand. Has your relationship with work changed?
The approach of working here has changed. Like every day I have to like sit in my home and do the online meeting, like one meeting by another, but it saves me a lot of time. Like I used to travel a lot. I fly like 80 times last year. After like I started to use the online meeting, there won't be necessary that much of travel to the city and talk with other people. If you can use the online meeting instead, like use Zoom.
I know what you mean. I think it learning when you really need to. I think there's still always going to be a value of being with somebody in person, but I know what you mean. It's that like you actually don't need to be in person for every single meeting you ever have. What's the relationship with failure in Chinese culture?
So that's the thing I want to like emphasize here, because last like 10 years China has developed really fast. Like everyone will have a, I call it success standard. If you have like one big house in the first tier cities in China, like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, you are all good. Or if you make it to like the VPs or even partners of the company, you are good. I think that attitude will make us, you know, you are strong at work, but you're vulnerable in life because you have no life. Don't think that's a measurement for life. Like work is just part of our lives. Actually, the atmosphere here in China, especially in the last couple of years, I think people are more keen to talk about the success and avoid talking about their failures or their like fuck up relations with their families. They just don't want to talk about it in public, even in some small gatherings.
Why is that?
The society implied it's just because like everyone is like chasing the speed of success. Like if you talk about your vulnerability, you are like way behind.
I think the UK is too dissimilar, to be honest with you. I think it's like very British culture is to kind of get on with it and everything's okay. But yeah, I think definitely there's been huge strides in the last few years with the boom of mindfulness and meditation and the whole well-being industry, and also like mental health generally in the UK. Compared to maybe 5 years ago, is a very hot topic in the UK. And I think fuck up nights and failure and being vulnerable is just so inherently tied with your mental well-being. But there is still, I don't know, need to be seen as successful, as you said. And that's why I'm the same. That's why I wanted to do something to do with that and happen to find fuck up nights, because I've learned personally that actually like success is ultimately all about how you feel about yourself, not about the car that you own or
yeah, I agree.
Or what other people think about you. It's ultimately about yourself.
There's an old saying in Asian China, success is always the same, but failures can be really different. I think the more you learn how they're facing their fuck ups, I think can really train your heart to be more strong to stand in this kind of situation. I think there is an interesting discussion with my friend like a couple days ago. They said in the last like 5 years, our success is to have a house, have a beautiful wife, and have a good car. And in 2020, the success is to live.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that just generally a lot of, and I'm one of them, like a lot of people in business right now are petrified of making mistakes, particularly right now when the world is changing and so much more seems to be at stake. Like someone said, why are you putting on a digital fuck up night? And it is because of the fact that I think we all need to remember that we're all human and we're all trying our best, and we may be making mistakes, but like we should rest assured that like everybody's making it up right now, and that's okay. And yeah, and we should embrace that, and we should be trying new things and not being afraid of whether they're successful or they fail, but the fact that we tried them is the most important thing. So I'm just really keen that the ethos of fuck up nights continues, even if it's not in the live event format that it has been up to now.